So again, thank you all for joining us today for our peer connections on my favorite piece of equipment. So I would like to begin by acknowledging that we live and work on the traditional territories of many Indigenous nations across Turtle Island. While we meet today on a virtual platform, we must recognize the importance of the land and our treaty agreements. We acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territories of all Inuit, Métis, and First Nations peoples. As our Spinal Cord Injury Ontario community encompasses many geographies, we ask that everyone take a few moments of their day to find out which unceded or treated territories you may live and work on. You can use the link www.native-land.ca to learn more, and Jeffrey will put that into the chat box. So my name is Julie. I am a peer support coordinator for Spinal Cord Injury Ontario in the London region. I want to thank my coworker Jeffrey, who will be handling all the behind the scenes work, as well as sharing some of our videos and pictures. So just a few rules of engagement before we begin. As I mentioned, we are going to be recording this session. So if you do not wish to be seen, just ensure that your camera is turned off. We will be keeping everyone on mute throughout the presentation just to cut down on the background noise. But you're more than welcome to use the raise hand feature to ask a question, or we will also be monitoring the chat box throughout the presentation as well. So if you don't want to ask your question in person, please feel free to type your questions or comments or anything in the chat box. So we've got a great session planned for today. Joining us is Oda, Scott, and Blair. So they have all provided videos on their favorite piece of equipment. So I will let each individual introduce themselves before we play their video. After the video is done, they're more than happy to answer any questions you might have, any comments or anything pertaining to the video. We also have a few videos that people have done for us that unfortunately weren't able to join us, but they are still great videos. So we will also play those towards the end, and between some of us on the call, if there is any questions about them, we could try and answer them. We also welcome you at the end to share any of your pieces of equipment, whether you just want to tell us about it, because as we all know, everyone has things that help us out when we have disabilities. So we're always happy to hear what others use as well and what helps them in their day-to-day life. So I'm going to turn it over to Oda to introduce himself, and then we will go ahead and play his video.
Hi guys, my name is Oda. I have a C6 complete spinal cord injury. I've had it for over 2 decades. I work with Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, and I consider myself a disability advocate and and content creator. You can go ahead and play my video. One of my favorite things about the Rehasence PAWS is how easy it is to take on and off. It literally takes seconds. So on a beautiful day like this, I don't have to compromise. I can go for a bike ride, and I can easily go for a stroll whenever I want. This is my review and my personal experience using the Rehasence PAWS. Let's talk about it. Here's a closer look at how easy it is to attach. You dock, secure the clamps, and from there press the button to raise the casters, and then it locks in, undo the wheelchair brakes, and off you go in literally a matter of seconds. The quad version is extremely innovative and inclusive. It's designed for people without hand and finger dexterity. A rider simply needs to dock up to it, press the button, and it'll automatically and securely clamp the paws to the wheelchair frame and raise the casters. Here's a quick rundown of the buttons on the Tourer. This is the raise and lower, which is for when you want to attach or detach. This is the emergency brake, which you hold. It's always good to have an emergency brake in case something happens. This is the forward gear, and this is the reverse. This button here doesn't do anything on the version that I have. It's for the quad version. This is for the horn. This is the display. It's quite impressive. It's vibrant even in the daytime. This is the gear up, the gear down. This is the power mode. This is for the lights. It's got two different versions, the lower strength and the higher strength. This here is for the traction control, on and off. This switch is for the walk mode, and this is for cruise control. Now let me show you what some of these features look like. The PAWS has a really cool feature called the walk mode. The walk mode allows you to activate it, and it'll engage the motor at a speed that you set it at, which makes it really easy to take a stroll with somebody. Let's see how it works. So I've set it at 2 kilometers an hour, which is not fast at all. And since it's self-leveling steering, it makes it easy to talk to someone when you're on a familiar trail or when you're on a sidewalk. You can just talk without having to worry about activating the buttons. I really like this mode, and I use it quite often. The Rehasence PAWS has a really good light. It's excellent for visibility. All you gotta do is press and hold, let go, and there's two strengths, the lower strength and more of a high beam strength. This is really good for visibility and makes it a lot safer to ride at night, on the trails, or on sidewalks. I've found the traction control to be an excellent feature. Essentially, the traction control function lowers the wheel speed at starting and increases the low RPM torque to minimize wheel spin. This is a steep incline I have not been able to do on any other front power attachment I've used. But with the PAWS, it was easy breezy. Another advantage to having traction control as well as a large 20-inch wheel size that comes with the Tourer is that it makes it a lot easier to get over rugged terrain like this. I've taken the PAWS on all sorts of rugged terrain, including uneven ground, ground that's covered with water and the elements, and even gravel. The stands in the PAWS Tourer have their pros and their cons. One con I found is that in elevators, sometimes it can get caught in the door. Not every time, you get used to it. And the pros are quite a bit. Not only does it make it easy to dock, but you can also easily move the device around because it is pretty hefty. So I can easily move it around my apartment. On these kind of front attachments, the battery is really important. Not only in the range that it can provide, but also in how easy it is to charge and how you can charge it. So with the PAWS Tourer, there's a key, and the only purpose this key serves is to secure the battery. So the battery is taken off really easily, and it's very, very light. There's also a protection here against the elements, the cover.
That's cool.
So in order to charge it, there's a proprietary wire. All you've got to do is line it up, pop it in, secure it, and you're good to go. PAWS Tourer is that the charger.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Oda?
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of the front power attachment. It's becoming a more popular, it's a category which I'm very happy about. Yeah, these things are extremely powerful. They completely transform your wheelchair. I've got over 3,500 kilometers on mine this year. Scott can speak to how much he's got on his, a little less than mine, but who's counting? But yeah, if you guys have any questions about the front power assist.
What? Go ahead.
Mostly just wondering if you've run into any problems taking it on public transit. I know I have had a few York Region bus drivers give me a little bit. They've sort of tried to tell me that it was like a half electric bike. So they were telling me that it had to ride on the outside of the bus kind of thing. But yeah, so that's York Region though. I was wondering if you've seen that in Toronto.
Oh wow, I can't imagine putting it up the front.
No, I haven't.
Right.
Uh,
But that's
but
what I asked you to do.
yeah, and I'm like, no.
For me, for sure, buses, I can't bring it on a bus. I mean, I can if it's in a complete pinch. I've done it before when the subways are down and we have shuttle buses. But those shuttle buses are really busy. So it's hard to get on, but in a pinch with some help, I could take it off, get onto the bus, have someone bring it and bring it with me, but only with help. Other than that, I can get on the subways really easily with it, and that's my main method. But yeah, buses and streetcars are really hard to take it on because just the lack of space.
We just have a comment in the chat box saying that was amazing. Explains what I saw at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's interesting. At the Olympics, I can't remember if it's Honda or Toyota, but one of those companies freely offered these kinds of devices for anybody that used the wheelchair and was attending the Olympics. I think they were free of charge during the Olympics. So, and that's a pretty cool image of the future. Like imagine a bike share station in Toronto where you could just roll up and have something like this and just plug it in and go. That would be that to me, that would be the definition of equality. If we could do stuff like that. But yeah, that's a good point that you saw that at the Olympics.
Does anyone else have
I
any?
try
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
tried the Defender recently and it was pretty cool. But it was a much smaller version of that, which you
Right.
couldn't really take off on rough country at all.
Right. That's the cool thing about this. There's the category is so big now. There's front attachments that you could use, but mainly for they're indoors. Small ones that you could take on airplanes, small batteries, yeah, all sorts. It's cool.
What's the battery range and price range?
For my PAWS, the battery range is 30 kilometers per battery. And the price range for the lowest version is I believe it's 7,500 plus tax, and it goes all the way up to 14,000. And this is Canadian.
If there's no questions now, Oda's going to be here for the duration of the session. So, oh, sorry, there's another question. What's the lifespan?
They're supposedly supposed to last for a long time. I know someone who had a Batec, and he's had the same Batec for 10 years. So as long but they're lithium ion batteries, so you got to take care of them. So if you're taking care of the batteries and getting regular checkup, it should last a while.
Again, Oda will be here, so if there is questions at the end or throughout, please feel free to ask. So Oda has another video that we'll play.
I discovered something unusual this year. I really enjoy wheeling in the winter. I find that the secret is to be well equipped with the proper attire. Here, I'm wearing multiple layers, but the standout items in my winter kit are the heated vest and the fleece-lined wheelchair cover. Let me show you more. This is the fleece-lined wheelchair cover. Whenever I use it, I pay extra attention to the placement. I want it to appear smooth and wrinkle-free so as to avoid any contributions to a pressure sore. Then, it's a simple transfer as usual, but since the bottom of the cover is closed, I have to make sure I get my feet placed well in there after a transfer. From there, I make sure I'm sitting well, my feet are planted firmly on my footplate, and that I'm well zippered up and tucked in so that I can trap the heat and keep out the elements like wind and water. This heated vest comes with a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack, which I'm hooking up here and placing in the pocket. The vest has 9 heating zones in the pockets, back, neck, and chest areas. The heat comes on fast, within seconds of turning it on. The vest is made of lightweight carbon fiber and is windproof and waterproof. There are 3 heating levels, low, medium, and high. I mainly use it on high. The 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack lasts about 3 hours on high, but since it uses a standard battery pack and not a proprietary one, you can buy more and keep them as backup as needed. And here I am looking extra fresh, getting ready to go for my bike ride with my winter kit. I now go wheeling and I ride my bike. I find biking extra enjoyable because I'm warm and toasty, and the trails are a lot less busy than in the summer, which makes for a very peaceful and meditative ride. So there you have it. get yourself some layers, the right attire, and get active despite the winter. See y'all in the next video.
Okay, I have a question. If you don't have feeling for heat and stuff, you probably have to be really careful? Do you know how long you can wear it for, or how does that work?
In terms of the battery, it lasts like if on high, like 2 to 3 hours. Medium and low lasts much longer than that. In terms of feeling, I in my upper body, I do have the feeling, so I can tell if it's too hot or if I need to turn the temperature down. But if you don't have feeling, that's a good point. It's something to be aware of, because these things heat really fast, and it's right. The heating elements are in the material that you're wearing, so it's all pressed up against you. So if you don't feel, it's definitely a good idea to be aware and to check your skin after and all this stuff.
Or maybe start slow with wearing it, wear it for a little bit, check your skin, try
For
it.
sure. If you're wearing it as an extra layer with stuff underneath it and then a jacket over top, even low would suffice, in my opinion, because yeah, it keeps all the heat in, and it's very helpful, and it lasts a lot longer.
You look nice and toasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something in the chat box. It says, remind me how fast it can go. And I'm thinking maybe that's going back to your first video.
Yeah, going back to the first video. The version that I have is um the version that I have goes up to 34 kilometers. There's one called the Tour that goes up to 40 kilometers an hour.
Any other questions or comments about Oda's heated blanket jacket?
And I'm here if you guys want to.
Sorry, what was the brand name of the vest?
Oh, I'll type that in the chat. I'll look at it on my Amazon orders.
Yeah, sounds really good. And how you said 3 hours length?
It
Online?
uses a battery pack, the kind for your phone that you can have. So that's the cool thing about it. You probably have some lying around. So with a 10,000 milliamp hour one, if you keep it on high, which is good heat, it lasts for about 3 hours. But medium and low would last up to 6 to 10 hours. And those are enough. So yeah.
Right, so there's a few things that went into the chat. So someone asked fleece wrap where to buy. So you mentioned that was Amazon?
Yeah, but everything that you saw in the video is from Amazon. I'll post the links in the chat as the next person goes.
Okay. So there was another one just a little bit higher that said where to buy, and I'm assuming that's having to do with the first video as well.
No, it says fleece wrap where to buy, right?
No, but
Where?
in the comments, yeah.
Both. So the fleece wrap is from Amazon, and the Rehasence PAWS is from a company called Rehasence. If you just Google Rehasence Canada, I'll post that in the chat as well. They operate out of Vaughan, so that's where you would get the PAWS.
So we will send out an email, I'm assuming maybe in the new year at this point, with the video and all the links that anyone provides in the chat box. So don't worry about having to write them all down. We will provide that for you again in January. Okay. Okay, so if there's no other questions or comments, we'll move on to the next. So we've got Scott next. Scott, if you want to unmute and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Scott. I'm coming up on my 16th year, being in a C6 quadriplegic, so just a little bit behind Oda, but not too far, catching up. Um, I had my injury after a party and a few beers and a shallow dive into some water, and yeah, so quadriplegic. And so like Oda, but my hands are more paralyzed than Oda. I don't have a finger or thumbs that are really active. So my Batec is the quad version of sort of what Oda was talking about. And yeah, you guys want to show the video?
Perfect.
My name is Scott Wallen, and I am a quadriplegic. This Batec is my favorite piece of assistive technology that I have, or assistive device. It gives me the freedom of an electric wheelchair, but still gives me the maneuverability of a manual wheelchair. I can take it into stores or different shops and disconnect it, and then I'm free of the device kind of thing. So it is really beneficial for adding to my mobility without taking me out of my chair that I sit in all day long.
Okay. There is a question in here that might, I would imagine, pertain actually to both. So someone is asking if ADP recognizes, it does say PAWS as a power aid and fund, or anyone have experiences with private insurances covering any part of assistive devices.
I know that I paid out of pocket for mine, but that was a bunch of years ago when it was sort of more of a new technology, so I don't know if they have picked up on that, but they probably should have. What do you think, Oda?
ADP does cover some, they're starting to recognize it. So some are covered, but those versions are the really small version of what Scott and I have. And one version is called the Chill Care Companion. That one is one of the few that's recognized by ADP and covered. But other than that, no, it's not covered by ADP. And even insurance is a little hard to go through, although I've known a few people get it covered through private insurance.
And Tori's asking what the difference is between the Oda's version of the Batec and what's yours, the PAWS.
Yep.
So yours is I assume you have like a motorcycle twist grip for your throttle,
Right.
right? So I don't have the grip for the twist, so mine is more of um my entire handlebars shift down towards me like into my lap kind of thing, and they push away from me for a braking system. Nicole, is there a lock for you to park the device for your store? No, but I can take the key out and nobody can technically drive it away, but that's not going to stop someone from picking it up. But a bike lock would work. I mean, just a standard bike lock. Yeah, but I like Oda, I ride my thing around all the time. The video is kind of choppy, but my dog is in the video, and I take him out for about an 8 kilometer run every single night that he very much looks forward to, and I look forward to, and it's a great little, time out in the wintertime, in the summertime, and yeah, like Oda said, it's a little meditation time for both of us, I think.
How responsive is the quad version? Like, can you stop on it quickly? Or
It's very good braking. I have no problem with that. It's very torquey. Um, so you're almost like uh it burns out pretty much every single time you start going, but that's just because I think I have the older model of it, because I have driven the newer ones and they are a little bit more of a smoother start. But yeah. Oh, I've taken mine on airplanes. I've taken it down to Florida. I've taken it everywhere I travel. It's pretty easy to fly with. I just buy a roll of bubble wrap from Amazon, and then when I take it to the gate, I just bubble wrap it before I give it to them, and then
what about the battery?
I'm allowed to take that on the no, sorry, that's a lie. the company that I bought it from, I just exchanged my larger battery for a airplane appropriate size battery. So yeah, so
And the PAWS has a quad version that's fully automatic. But how do you put yours on?
it's the key locks it into place, and then so like if the key's in a neutral position, the first turn forward is to lock into position, and the second position is to turn it on, right? And then it just slides up and down, sort of similar to how you removed your
What about your, how do you attach your Batec itself to your wheelchair?
um oh, I got a video. I could post you, I could find a video in the chat, but it is it clicks. I drive up to it, sort of like center myself on the bike, pull it down towards me. It clicks in one position, and then I push it away from me, like using my physical strength and just leaning back, and it picks the front caster wheels up off the ground, and I'm off. The same as Oda kind of thing, but I would say it's less quad friendly than your version for sure, because it does require some like some bench pressing kind of pushing to get it up. Yeah, it's really strong. I've unfortunately I've rolled it, a couple times, and it survives, and I just have to kind of take it back to my mechanic and get the handlebars straightened out. But other than that, it's nothing seems to break on it.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
No problem.
That'll be with us till the end, so if there is any other questions, please feel free to ask throughout. Okay, so we've got Blair, who's next. Blair, if you just want to unmute yourself and just introduce yourself, and then we will play the video after.
My name's Blair. I'm a handy. Same as Scott, got all loaded up. Thought I was a professional diver. I was not. Broke my neck. C5-6 quadriplegia caused. I'm a comedian and a producer, co-producer of a monthly comedy show called Laughs Without Limits at Danforth. Comedy Bar Danforth. And I unfortunately have to be a content creator, going along with, producing. Everything's online, so I have to do a lot of content creating, which I'm really trying to. I don't like social media, is what I'm saying, but it's an evil that I have. In order to get good, sometimes you got to dabble with the evil. So I do that. And yeah, recently got into doing sketch comedy videos. I directed my first one. It was really well received. And we don't think, we're actively going to apply for a few Bell Media grants to expand. So yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Blair. So we'll go ahead and play your video, and then if anyone has any questions for Blair, you can ask after.
So one of my favorite pieces of equipment is my phone and my phone holder. I have been in life-threatening situations before, and if I did not have voice recognition, I most likely would not be alive today. Being able to use my voice to call for help is life-changing, life-saving. It is one adaptive tool that I use on a daily basis, but it's probably the most important.
So as I mentioned, I have to do a lot of content creation. Having this mount, it's a RAM mount. There's a little ball that the wheelchair company Motion installed onto my hand rest. and this attaches to that, and then it holds the phone. So having C5-6 quadriplegia and 0 finger dexterity and limited muscles in my hand, holding a camera steady for a long period of time is very trying, right? And also, like, you know, I can be driving my chair, you know, down an alley, like, so that's something else I do is I take able-bodied people, I put them in a mobility device, and then we tour the streets and alleys of Toronto, looking at really cool street art, but at the same time, people are learning about accessibility. But I can film myself doing that, do like, you know, quote unquote, Rick's rants about accessibility down there. Yeah, but it's just, it's open to world. I can leave it up there. I can edit the video from there. Yeah, and for like 250 bucks, you know, it saved a lot of hassle. I know it's just a phone, but, and then again, obviously I said with being able to use voice recognition and not having to wear something on the side of my head that causes brain cancer most likely is a good thing, because for so many years I had to do that, right? But yeah.
Okay, we do have a question from Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
So not as much of a question, but more of like I'm echoing what you're saying with the voice recognition kind of thing. I fell with my Batec one night and I couldn't get to my phone and I couldn't get to voice recognition. And because I couldn't do that, I ended up sleeping in the woods. And yeah, it was a very long night. And yeah, so I echo 100% what you're saying about the voice recognition being very important for people like us.
Well, one thing I'm actually looking at doing, I didn't think I don't, whatever. Anyways, I don't want to be one of those people, but I think I'm going to get an Apple Watch because the exact same thing happened to a friend of mine that you're talking about. But because he had an Apple Watch, he could run the phone through that.
The
Yeah,
other thing about the Apple Watch, it happened to a friend of mine recently. It has detection, so it can tell when you fall and you stay down, it will automatically call for help, like either 911 emergency services or or your emergency contacts and stuff.
trust me, when I was looking at my phone from a good distance away and I couldn't get to it, yeah, no, I wish I had that Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Technology.
sleeping in the woods with no tent sucks.
Yeah.
Blair, I have a question. Do you have to take that on and off when you're transferring from your chair, or does it swing away?
Yeah, it comes on and off. I have to have somebody help me do it. This is like thumb screws, right? I don't know if you can see that or not.
Um,
You can see the screw.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's on there securely.
yeah.
It's really amazing what you could set up on your phone. Like I'm very into home automation, and I've got, you know, LED lights, smart lights. I really want to get a lock that automatically locks when it detects your specific phone. I could do that through Bluetooth, but my management wouldn't let me install it. But yeah, your phone, if you really lean into it, there's so much that it could do.
Yeah.
What's up, Scott?
Blair, I was wondering if you could tell us more about your trips out, taking people around the neighborhood in power chairs and stuff, because I do something really similar with the local high school. I give them my spare wheelchair for their kinesiology students. And the assignment for them is to stay sitting in the chair for like just a single day at school, and they have to navigate, you know, like going to the bathroom, going to classes, going up and down, you know, from one floor to another. And I've actually found it to be really quite positive with the kids' like reactions from, yeah, so I wondering if it's the same.
Maybe we can like link up offline and talk about that for sure.
That actually would be a really good idea for peer connections as well, to do something like this on a topic like that. So we can definitely look into that. But we do have a few
Sure.
more videos to get into. So are you okay for you guys to link offline to talk about it? Okay,
Yeah.
I just am cognizant of the time. Is there any other questions for Blair or comments? Okay, again, Blair will be with us till the end, so if you do think of anything. Okay, so the next few videos that we have, the individuals making the videos unfortunately are not with us, but like I said, we can maybe amongst us answer some questions, or they might just be kind of self-explanatory. So the next one we'll do is Luke's wheelchair.
Hi, my name is Luke Anderson, and my favorite piece of equipment is my chair. I have a love-hate relationship with this assistive device, though. It affords me independence and the ability to get from A to B. However, I've got some really strong opinions about the design of this device and others like it. I feel like I should be able to experience way more range than I can get out of a charge. And I see other wheeled devices out there like scooters and power assist bikes that get unbelievable range. So my question is to the people that are designing these devices, why? Hi, my name is Luke Anderson. The equipment is my chair.
So I don't know if we have any vendors on the line to be able to answer that question. I use the power chair as well. I charge mine every night, so I don't have any issues. I don't tend to do a lot of long distance stuff, but it is definitely a good question.
Do you keep track, like you guys, Blair and Julie, you guys use power chairs. Do you guys keep track of your distance per day, or how long you're going? How do you avoid range anxiety?
I wheel around a lot. Like, I'm gonna say I'll do 8 to 10 kilometers before I even lose 1 bar of power.
Oh, wow.
So maybe it's his batteries. I don't know. Like, I'm using, mine are a little more expensive, the gel, deep cell batteries, but like I need it, right?
Do you charge your chair every night, Blair?
Yeah, with these batteries, you should.
Yeah, me too.
What about you, Julia? What's your range?
I have no idea. I've never really paid much attention to it because, like I said, there's no I charge it every night. I've never done like huge hikes or anything like that, so I've never really had to pay attention. Although obviously, as the batteries get older, the charge does tend to go quicker. But I don't know. That's a good question. Probably something I should be more cognizant about. Jaspreet.
I guess I can share. I don't remember the numbers now because I haven't used my chair in a little bit of time, but I believe it's 18 kilometers that the tech said don't go over. So I have done some crazy treks. I work out of Lyndhurst. I've had appointments out of Lyndhurst, so I've done silly things like charge my bat. I try to charge it most nights, every night, but I have trekked home from Lyndhurst, and home is Bloor and Islington, so like a lot of the city. And that's not the first time I've done it. It does take a couple of hours. But I'm very like don't want to be out in the winter. I don't mind doing crazy treks like that in the summer, and I do find that my power chair can handle it. It does usually mean that by the time I get home, I probably won't be able to go back out and do another trip. But after something that long, I probably don't want to either. So I know that it can handle things like that. It probably does depend on battery. I do always sort of ask my techs to increase my speed to the most it can go, if that's possible. And then I do try to find out like what is the max that I can go, because I might want to go that max.
Thanks, Despre. Okay, any other questions about power chairs or Luke's video? So the next one we can play is Erika's walking sticks.
These are my walking sticks, and they're my favorite because on a more challenging day, they allow me to go out for walks and to be a little more independent. In the winter time, I can switch out the ends and put a pick, which helps with the ice and snow. It's always a good time. Yeah. And they're my favorite because.
Okay, any questions about that? These videos are just short and sweet. But is there any questions about walking sticks? Anyone on the call that uses them or that can share anything? Okay, so we'll move on to Nancy's pull-up bar. So Nancy is a coworker of ours at Spinal Cord Injury Ontario. She's off this week, but she said we can play her videos. So we'll do the pull-up bar first.
Sitting in a wheelchair full time always makes my back and my arms sore. Being able to stretch out effectively can also be challenging. I found a great solution for that. This is the same kind of pull-up bar that bodybuilders use. Hanging on this bar a few times a day, a few minutes each time, is an excellent exercise. I will change angles and positions to stretch different muscles.
Okay, brilliant idea. Being able to do it from home. Does anyone have any comments, questions, anything they've done at home to help make exercising easier, stretching? So Nancy has done another one, her massage table.
First of all, I want to talk about this massage table. Though it's not absolutely necessary to have one, lying on this table with my face rest in this opening makes my neck much more comfortable. The firmness is just right, and also the height and width of this table is ideal for the person who is doing the massage. It's about $130 on Amazon. I think it's a reasonable price for what it's worth. This is a leg air compression massager. There are multiple brands and price tags on Amazon. As someone with spinal cord injury, this machine is one of the very few ways that I can stimulate and exercise my legs. I think this is a great product for someone who is in the acute stage of their injury or for someone who is mostly bedridden. It massages our legs by pumping and releasing air into the leg sleeves. I use this machine every day for 1 hour. I use it while I'm chillaxing and watching TV.
Eric, I think your computer is freezing up again. Oh no, really? Can you guys hear me? I just said it. Eric, you'll just have to listen again, okay? Best you can. So let's start today, guys, by going over yesterday's grammar examples. Wendy, can you read the first one?
The proclaimed benefits include improving blood circulation, reducing swelling, promoting proper functioning of the lymphatic system, releasing nerve compression and tension, etc. The most noticeable benefit for me is it does improve my blood circulation as the color of my legs turn pink after each session. It also keeps my muscle toned and it prevents my paralegs from severe atrophy. The search item for this machine is massage gun. Though it looks very powerful, it actually feels very gentle and it shouldn't cause any harm. If you're lucky to have someone in your family that can assist you, they can use this machine to help you without any training as a massage therapist. It can be used to relax any parts of your body. My area of focus are my butt cheeks, the back of my legs, and my lower legs, areas that are stressful and stiff because I sit for too long. Of course, I can use this massage gun on areas that I can reach, such as my hands. It's my navel that I use this on. I don't know what your experience is like, but wearing glasses, if your glasses are too tight or too heavy. This machine to massage my ears, as there are many acupuncture pressure points on the ears. It helps improve the blood circulation on my head. When using this, it really else can.
Okay. How wonderful did that look? Those things that she put on her legs, I had never seen those before until I saw her video. They were very cool. I don't know if anyone's used those or talked to Nancy about those or can give any insight. No.
I've used the massager, and that's definitely great for what it is.
Okay, so we've got one last video, and then we have someone who sent us some pictures that would like to share those as well. So our last video is Miranda's headset. Jespri, are you able to play that last video?
She might be having connection issues because the last video was pretty choppy.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that. Tori, do you have that video that you could play if I make you co-host?
Me? Oh no.
I can hear you, Jespri.
Okay.
The video.
It says my connection is unstable.
Yeah, the video was a little bit kept freezing.
Okay, I can try it again.
Do you want to try playing Miranda's?
Miranda's was the very last one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This way it becomes a lot easier to hear. Hi, I'm Miranda from Rise Above Adaptive Climbing, and these headsets are one of my favorite pieces of equipment to use. They're normally used for motorcyclists to communicate with one another, but we use them here when we're climbing for visually impaired climbers so that they can actually hear the person calling out directions for them for what they're supposed to do with their hands and feet. So they're just worn over the back of the head like this. Each person wears them, and this way it becomes a lot easier to hear each other, particularly if the gym is loud and noisy or if the climber is really far up.
And these headsets you had interviewed Miranda, was there anything else that she had mentioned about those or?
Just that it gave her the opportunity, to participate in climbing. I like that they were not designed specifically for paraclimbing or an adaptation. She repurposed it, as she said, it was something that, motorcyclists use as well. So I find that great, and in the spirit of accessibility, just repurposing something that works for you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got, I think Ron, you were able to get on. Jeffrey, are you able to share Ron's pictures? And then Ron, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us about them.
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for allowing me to participate. Oh, where'd it go? Anyway, while we're waiting for the picture, I just want to mention I had a rep living in Thunder Bay, and we don't have we can't use a lot of outside. I use a scooter quite a bit, and I can't use it outside for 6 months or so because of snow and cold. But I bought this wrap that I got in the back. It fits up as it shows there close, so it's not in any way for driving or parking. Anyway, if you fail the next one where it goes down, could you? It's quite simple. There's just one pin at the back rear bumper and it will lay flat. And another pin allows the ramp to go up, so you can just walk the scooter up. And anyway, it just gives me a lot of independence. I do a lot of work at the hospitals and stuff, and there it's just walking up like that. And there's just two clamps that or tie downs that go, and I could go wherever we like. If it's raining or snow like that, a lot of it I just put a cover over top of it, tie it down, and it just gives you that bit of freedom. But the reason I wanted to share this, it took me a long time to find that. I tried different ramps and things that just didn't seem to work. My car's a little too small. The scooter does come apart. And I leave it outside because I put a battery or a couple of heaters on top, heater pads on the battery, and rewired it so I could just leave it outside in the cold weather and not have to worry about it because it was getting too heavy to bring the battery in at night. Anyway, if anybody needs something like that, it's just so simple to use. There's just one pin to drop drop it to that stage, and another pin puts the ramp down. And I'm able to just walk up, and if somebody needs something like that, it's pretty good. You just need a trailer hitch and a couple of $1,000, and it's a lot cheaper than trying to buy a van anyway, and works well for us. And thank you so much. And it's nice seeing all you guys. I see a few of you I recognize from something else, and hello.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate you sending those pictures. And it's nice, it looks like it folds up, so when your scooter's not on it, it's not like you have something that's sticking out behind the car when you're driving.
That's right. If my wife takes the car, we put it up. If I take the car, I get too lazy and I just drive with it now.
How did you get the idea, Ron?
A lot of research. I kept looking at a lot of different places. There's nothing here in town that I could use because I can't lift anything, but so it's just so easy to use, and I ended up finding it from Amazon. And then since then, when I got the trailer hitch done, installed for me, the gentleman said that at the store that he'd be able to get that as well. So I'm trying to get different people, make them aware if they're looking for something like that they could buy it locally. And it's just so handy for me. It's just a godsend for sure.
There's just a question in the chat box. Ron, do you know the name of the ramp?
I have a hard enough time knowing my name. No, I don't know what it is. No. If you look on Amazon, just trying to remember what I Googled there. just ramp for wheelchairs or scooters, and then they have a different choice. But that one I found is the simplest and easiest to use.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So does anyone, that's it for sort of what we had to share. Is there anyone else that wanted to talk about anything that they use? Yes, Scott, go ahead.
So I have three things that I sort of thought of while we were having this conversation. I have these guys. Oh, can you see it in front of my face? I'll do it in front of my face. These are my gloves that I wear on my hands. They protect my palms when I'm pushing my wheelchair because I have little baby soft hands. And yeah, so I just wear them on like this, and that's kind of like what they look like on. And I've worn these for 15 years. Not this exact pair. I get a new pair about every, 4 or 5 months or something like that, but well worth the investment if you're a quadriplegic that pushes a wheelchair with hand rims. This other one, I would say I forgot about this. This is my gloves. My gloves, I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
It has no fingers. It's like it's a mountain biking. It's a winter mountain biking handlebar glove thing. It is called Rock Bros. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if I got I got a blur going on, guys. Just trying to keep my face in there. Anyway, these gloves I wear in the wintertime, you just slide them over the handlebars, like while your hands are in them kind of thing. And then I put my hands over the handlebars. And these things keep my hands incredibly warm. And the last thing, I got this guy, which I don't use it a ton, but every time that I have had to use it, it has worked really well for me. And it is called the Quad Grabber from Quadtools, right? And it is a grabber guy because I don't have finger grip, but I can go like this and where is it? I can close. Let me take the blur off this thing. This is silly.
While you do that, Scott, obviously the Rock Bros you use with your Batec, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I can go like this and just by I'm not sure, flexioning my wrist backwards, I can get the little grip. So I can grab little tiny things off the floor, credit cards, pennies, that kind of thing, whatever. This is a cool little tool that whenever I do need it, it always comes in pretty handy. But yeah.
And where are those things from, Scott?
That's from a website called quadtools.com, and they also have a like a they also have barbecue tongs, a knife kind of thing. So a bunch of stuff for people who don't have grip. And if you're looking, there's the Rock Bros kind of glove kind of thing. And it just slides over the handlebars. And yeah, it's a good hand. It's a good help. I like it a lot.
Thank you. Someone put something.
Yeah, Blair put the link for the Rock Bros gloves that Scott was talking about. Thanks, Blair.
I'll put the gloves for life link in there.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Okay, so Nicole, did you have something you wanted to share as well? Yeah, go ahead. If you want to unmute yourself, you can let us know.
Finally. Couldn't find the button. Apologies. Yes, I will have one. Well, it's not a tool, but I found something very interesting in my research. I was trying to bring it up at the same time as listening. Zero gravity, it's by Ergo Quest, Zero Gravity Workstations. And it's a zero gravity chair, and the is no pictures, sorry. And there's different ones, but Zero Gravity Chair 4 is extremely impressive, where it goes from a sitting position, zero gravity, to flat and anything in between. All the you can tip forward, tip, towards your head, put your feet up in the air. Every position, it's incredible. Which for someone like me, I'm drooling over. And of course, it's in the US. I did find a Canadian company, computers. What is it called? What is it called? Special Needs Computers is the company in Ontario that will provide it. Pay up front, no returns, no cancellations. And you're talking 4,000 American, so about 65 Canadian, plus another 1,200 for installation.
Are you able to put that link in the chat box, Nicole? If not, I don't know, maybe.
I'm not that great at this, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. What did you say it was called again?
So do you want the American company or the Canadian company?
Maybe the Canadian.
The Canadian, I just turned the page. Here it is. Special Needs with an S, Computers with an S. And they are in St. Catharines, Ontario. And the easiest way to find the product I'm talking about is to go to their brands they carry and go to, another word I have to look up. Oh, shoot. Where's the button again? Ergo, ERGOQUEST. And that's the name of the American company, Ergo Quest Zero Gravity Workstations. And their main business for both companies is the actual workstations so that you could have a TV monitor, computer monitor on angles, on any angle you want. And they build these custom extraordinary workstations. But for me, I'm just looking at the zero gravity number 4 that goes from bed to chair, zero gravity, and everything in between.
Thank you for sharing. We can find those links and post them on our on the email that we'll send out with the rest of these links as well.
Yeah, because I haven't found anything similar, and the closest thing I could find would be like a zero gravity chair or a zero gravity and a zero gravity bed, because you need one of each. And the zero gravity beds don't have that kind of movement, or that they're getting a little bit more movement. But the one at the medical store does a lot of that, but not 100%. And it also goes up for the PSW. And they want $1,100. And it still doesn't have the movement this does. And this is custom made to your measurements and needs.
Okay.
So you're going to be waiting 6 to 9 weeks for sure. But it's custom. You can, build it the way you want it or need it. For less than what you can get a medical bed at the store, I think that's pretty terrific.
That's a pretty good tip. Thanks, Nicole.
We're checking out. Again, we'll find the links to that and post them so everyone can take a look at it.
And that's one of my questions. When I just plain Googled zero gravity to find a chair or bed, not much came up. Other than that, I think it was the original with a YouTube video, and then I had to do some research to find this. But I'm having difficulty finding what I need. And today I ended up at ADP to see if they would cover a bed, and they don't. I had forgotten about that. And so you're on your own to purchase these things. So you might as well get what you want.
And then, yeah, that's great.
Because there's no insurance as far as I can tell, and there's no ADP to help purchase these things. Is there anything else you can think of to help purchase these things?
Not that I can think of now.
Okay, just checking.
GoFundMe is a good last resort,
Oh dear.
Yeah.
not my wheelhouse.
Doesn't hurt to ask if anyone knows, but can't think of anything either that would maybe fund that. Well, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. Again, we'll find the links and that's something for people to look into. Sounds very neat.
And I do have some more questions that may or may not need to be recorded.
Okay. Is it something that you want to ask one of our participants? Like I can always connect you with someone offline or?
It wasn't regarding any of the videos. It was just a little bit more about how to find what I'm looking for.
Okay. Do you want me
easier,
to
maybe?
connect with you afterwards?
Sorry?
Do you want me to connect with you afterwards?
Sure, thank you. Or just stay on when you hit stop recording. I don't know, whatever you'd like.
Yeah, we can do that, no problem. Does anyone else have any? I notice we're at 4:12 right now. Any last sort of minute?
I have a couple of things to talk about. Al here. I have MS. I'm basically a spinal cord injury person now. My MS has sort of gone away. I'm in a wheelchair, technically a quad because I don't have much feeling in my right hand. Anyway, here's my favorite device right here. He's a dog guide. And I just got him a couple of months ago. I had one 10 years ago as well, but he does, fetching for me, barking for help, that kind of thing. I just thought I'd throw that out there because he's right here on my lap. Another thing that I've done though, I'm able to get my wheelchair in my car, manual chair. I have a caravan and I put the chair behind my seat. I can transfer chair in a way, but I'm not very good at it. But what I've done is I just got a rope with a block and tackle that I hang from the hand grip of the back seat. And I just hang a loop on the seat of the wheelchair and block and tackle the wheelchair into my car after putting the front wheels up on the deck. And it works brilliantly, and it saved me $30,000 of van conversion for about $30 from Canadian Tire for the rope and the block and tackle. Very useful. And the other thing that I use daily in lots of situations, I'm just going to see if I can grab it. Excuse me, Akita. Yep, my last dog was named Akita, so I call it King Akita all the time. Just a simple rope. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. Yeah, just a little bit of Tygon tubing at the front, a couple of knots, and a loop. And I use this to dangle down to fish my leg around my foot. And I use it to draw my foot up, to put socks on, to put my shoes on, to get my feet in the car when I'm getting in the car. I use it so much.
It's a good idea.
And it's just a dumb little loop with knots in the right places, which you can build, whatever you need to do.
It does the job though, right?
It does the job perfectly. And I carry them in the back of my chair. I've got a couple hanging in the bathroom, one hanging beside my bed. I'd love to figure out how to get into bed at night though. Anybody got any great clues to how to get my legs in? It's always a struggle.
Thanks, Al. It's amazing what we can come up with, right? When especially a lot of assistive devices can be expensive. So
where's the
right here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not on mute.
Oh, that's okay. Scott, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say to Al, some advice I have for getting into bed. When I transfer into bed kind of thing, I hook my arms underneath my legs and then I just kind of teeter back onto like sort of like a turtle on its back. And that's how I get my legs up into bed. And that's the easiest way that I have found how to do it.
Okay, I'll try to work with it a bit more. I guess I must be doing the same kind of thing, Scott. It's just trying to leverage my legs over.
It's
These
not
days
easy.
because no, it's not a fun thing. I don't want to defer to having some bulky piece of transfer equipment around. It's mostly my legs. I can get my bum on the bed and swing around. It's just all these days I've been figuring, hey, my wife's coming to the bed about the same time as me. Hey, Sue, can you help me? And she does. That's the best device I got is my wife.
Al, I have a guide dog too, and her
Yes.
piece of equipment is this stick with a rope and a loop on it, and it's lightweight for water. So you can throw it into the water, but I also like just throw it on land. So it's pretty easy for me. Like as I said, I don't have finger dexterity, C5-6 level, but like I can really whip this thing quite a distance for the dog. So she loves it.
Oh, okay.
I can find you the link and put it in the chat box for you.
I'm not sure I don't want to send the dog into the water because it's poodle and it's so hard to get her dry or get him dry. But thank you though for that.
Julie, that's a whole idea for a peer connection, like guide dogs and service dogs, and
It's a
Absolutely.
great idea. Great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
He's worked out so well, so incredibly well. The biggest thing is just barking for help. Not emergency help, just hey, I could use a hand over here because my wife can't hear very well, but one bark from my dog and she'll come running. I could demonstrate that now. I won't bother.
The other thing I was just gonna say too is I find that YouTube is a great resource for finding videos on how other people do things as well. So I know Al, you're talking about, swinging your legs over. Sometimes if you just kind of type a description in the YouTube search, videos will come up to show how other people do that kind of thing as well. So that can
That's a great idea, Julie. Thank you. Of course, I should have done that.
Mhm. Okay, so again, I'm noticing the time. Thank you all for sticking around. Is there any other questions for any of our individuals that have videos? Again, we'll put all of the links in the thank you email that we send to you, so don't worry about trying to write them all down. And if there's nothing else, I just want to thank you all very much for coming. I hope you all have a very happy holiday and a safe new year, and hopefully we'll see you back next year at some of our peer connections. Thank you all to the participants that did the videos as well. We really appreciate the time that you took to make the videos, and they are all on our Quadtree webpage as well if anyone wants to check them out before this video link comes up.
happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Whatever you celebrate.
Happy holidays.